After trying dozens of different spice blends, David finally found his perfect mix, a rich blend of warm spices with a sweet hint of licorice root and vanilla. Basically, guys, I want to tell you, enjoy this tea. It is delicious. It is spicy, but not too spicy. A little bit sweet, but not super sweet. Basically, try it. It's good. There's no other way I can say it. So what up? Welcome to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today, let's talk about Franklin Christoph.
There is a lot to love about this pen. Starting with pretty much the most important thing with any pen is the nib. This nib is one of the smoothest steel nibs I have used ever. And that's saying a lot because I've used a ton. Its design is basic. I'll try and show you a close-up there. The design of it is basic, but it's super, super smooth. And it's not a gusher, but it's pretty darn wet. And I like my pens to be on the wet side. So that makes me very, very happy with this. And as far as the ink goes, it can be eyedroppered. So it comes with the standard international cartridge, converter, which is cool because then you can pretty much use whatever you want with the pen, should you not use the converter that it comes with, or if you do not eyedropper it. But you definitely can. And this is translucent. It's not completely clear like the Franklin Christoph Model 66, but it's definitely still translucent. So when you put ink inside the pen, you can still see it sloshing about like you would in any other demonstrator, but it has kind of a smoky effect because it's kind of like a gray, dark gray, smoky finish, which is kind of really neat. And it's hard to appreciate on camera, but in person it's really nice. And you can see like all the detailed work that's on the inside of the barrel. The pen is very comfortable to hold. I generally use all my pens not posted, but you can post this one and it still feels really comfortable. It's not back heavy at all. The pen's on the lighter side because it is a little bit small, but it feels really nice in my hand, whether it's posted or not. And it's just push to post, so that's convenient. Speaking of push to post, it's also push to close. So instead of having threads, the entire grip section is threadless, which is really nice because you can hold it wherever the frick you want and it's gonna feel really, really nice. And it's a bit of a thicker grip section. The grip section is pretty much the same size as the body, which is almost the same size as my actual finger. So it feels really nice, especially for longer writing sessions. The pen's actually a little on the lighter side, so for long writing sessions, having a lighter pen and a wider grip section actually is the most comfortable to use. So it's kind of nice that this doesn't have any threads and it's just push to close. But that is also my one problem with this pen. One thing that I don't really like is that there's no positive stop. You just kind of push until you can't push anymore. So you don't hear that satisfying click. You don't feel like it's closed, but it is. I've never had any drying out issues within the last week that I've used it, so it seems to be pretty secure even though there's no inner cap or anything like that. One really positive thing, and Franklin Christoph actually explains it in their video that they released about this, which you can see on the Franklin Christoph website, is that the way they designed the cap, with it having two separate kind of grip points to the pen, which is basically right here and right here. When you close it, it means that it's going to lessen the likelihood of the cap cracking, and when you close, cap, and uncap your pen, it doesn't pull out ink like the Waterman Hemisphere or the Pilot Metropolitan. When you cap and uncap that snap cap, it will suck out ink from the pen and will deposit in the cap. And that doesn't happen on this, which is nice because it's, again, semi-see-through, so if there was kind of like splashes of ink kind of hanging out in here, it wouldn't be the most attractive thing. The clip that's on the pen, I did actually try and get the clipless version, but I was too late. It was sold out, so I did get the clipped version. It kind of bugs me that it's a little short like that. I wish it was just a little bit longer, but it's the perfect amount of springiness to stiffness, so it does its job. It works really well as a clip. I understand why they didn't make it the whole way through, because it's actually etched Franklin Christoph along the band here. So I understand why they chose to make the clip shorter, but it's just a little aesthetic thing of mine. But other than that, the pen's great. Oh, and the nib is actually inset into the grip section a little bit. So if you see compared to the Model 66, even though it's the exact same size nib, it's both size 6 nibs, number size 6 nibs, this one seems a little bit smaller because this nib goes all the way down to the grip section. So there's nothing that's inset here. It just stops. But this one, the nib actually starts right here where you can see this line. Now they did that apparently so that they could still make the pen smaller, like lengthwise, but still utilize a number 6 nib, which a lot of people prefer. So that's kind of cool. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Doesn't really affect performance at all. The only thing is it does collect a little ring of ink when you go to ink up the pen. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. But other than that, really, this pen is phenomenal. I really have no other complaints. And I like the fact that it's a little bit smaller, especially compared to the Franklin Christoph Model 66, which is the only other Franklin Christoph pen that I own. In comparison to the TWSBI Eco, it's shorter, and the Platinum Century 3776 is also shorter. But again, it fits perfectly in my hand, so I have no complaints with that. And I like the fact that it's a little bit more compact, so that you can take it with you wherever you want to go. And it still utilizes a number 6 nib. You can eyedropper it, you can Standard International. Basically, this pen is a winner to me. It is exclusive to Wonder Pens in Toronto, this finish, but you can go on the Franklin Christoph website and pick up the Model 20 in a whole bunch of other finishes, and you can get like a crazy amount of nib choices with it as well. So I definitely recommend that you check it out, and let's head to the writing section. This nib is awesome. I am kind of spoiled. I'm very used to gold nibs now, but this is one of the better steel ones I've ever actually used. It is a little bit stiff, like any steel nib would be, but you can get a decent amount of variation from it. So you're not going to get like crazy difference, but you're going to be able to get a little bit. But what I love most about this nib is just how stinking smooth it is. You really don't feel much of any resistance against it. And that to me is awesome. This is Clairefontaine paper, so it is going to kind of double up on the smoothness. But it's so great. Never any skips, no matter how fast I write. And I haven't had any hard starts with this pen. And I've had it for about a week now. I'm using it every day. You know, some days more than others, but definitely have had no issues whatsoever. As far as reverse writing goes, you definitely can, but it is much more, it's like a little bit scratchy when you write like that. excuse me, so I have a medium nib, so this is medium up here, so you could probably get a fine line. It's going to be a little bit drier that way, but this nib is not dry at all. It is, oops, it would help if I could actually hit it. Quite, well, I wouldn't say it's a gusher, but it's wet, definitely, which is how I like all my nibs to be. I loathe dry writers. I would rather have the stiffest nib in the world that writes wet than the springiest nib that's dry. I absolutely loathe dry writers. So this is honestly perfect. The ink, by the way, is Sailor Gentle Chiguar. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but I'm gonna guess that's how you spell it. Maybe it's E-R. No, definitely R-E. I don't know. But either way, this pen is great. Fits perfectly in my hand. It's super smooth. If you can get it, do it. But guys, that is all for me today. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe if you want to see more every Monday and Friday. And as always, don't be afraid to leave any comments, questions, or concerns down in the comment section below. I do answer them all. Awesome. See you next time, guys.